guys, I'm Lauren and welcome to my channel. So good to see you guys. Thank you guys for coming back every single week. I really appreciate it. It's always good to see you guys and talk about plants. Today we are starting a new series called What's Propping. It's going to be a monthly series. I'll probably do about once a month or so. And basically it's going to be all about propagations. I might go over propagations that I have going on. I might give detailed tutorials on how to propagate specific plants. Might answer whatever propagation questions you have. So make sure to follow me on Instagram and comment down below and let me know any questions that you have. For today's episode of What's Propping, we are going to be going over step-by-step how to propagate peperomia using the water method. This includes going through, showing you how to cut the peperomia leaf off the plant, how to root it in water, how to transfer it from water to soil, and then how to get it from soil into the pots that you would like it to be, that it's going to live in your environment. That way you're not stuck with a plant that's going to be stuck in a greenhouse for the rest of its life, or a plant that's going to die, you know, a couple of days after you transplant it, because we all know peperomia are very particular as far as having their roots messed with goes. I'm just going to kind of help you guys navigate some of those problems today, and if you need to know how to repot peperomia and not just propagate them, I have a whole video on a bunch of different peperomia that I repotted here. We'll be doing an update video soon, but I do show you an update on there as well a few days later, just how everything kind of looks after that. So that way, you know, you can see that they survived. But there is an update on there for you guys. All right, let's get into it today. Okay, so first you want to pick your peperomia and you want to take a look at the leaves. You don't need nodes, you do need a healthy leaf, preferably a healthy stem, because the stem is what you want to root in water. Here you just want to feel it. You want to make sure that it's firm and that it has a lot of life left, because it's going to take the life from this leaf to make the new roots and to make the new plants, the new growth essentially. So it's imperative to your success that you find a healthy leaf and a healthy stem. You can cut at the very base if you want, but your plant will get more bushy. Peperomia like to sprout more from where they've been cut. So keep that in mind while you're making your cuts. You just follow it back along as much as you want and just make the cut. I like to use these embroidery needle scissors because they get deep down in there. It's easier to make these little intricate cuts. This particular one, let me show you here. See the stem there? It's actually broken. So this would not be a good viable stem for water propagation. It's all damaged. You can see how it's a little discolored. The leaf doesn't have the leaf has enough life left in it that it could be used possibly for soil propagation or sphagnum, but as far as that stem, it's gone. This is an older leaf that you can see has a little bit of yellow and discolored, but it's a very firm leaf, still has a lot of life left, and so does the stem, so that would be a good one for us. And we'll just get a couple more. I like to chop off the older leaves because they start to change color and they kind of take away from the vibrance of the plant. Here's a damaged one. You can see it was crushed at some point and the flow of nutrients was actually cut off in the stem. So this leaf is still good though, and so is the stem underneath it. We just have to go and remove that rotted part, that crushed bit right there. And then we can totally water propagate this. So that's another way to repurpose and kind of help out and remake your plants. And you just shove them in water however you can get them. You can fold up the leaves a little bit or you can leave them out. It just depends on the propagation vessel that you decide to use. I prefer to use glass jars so I can tell when the little pups have sprouted at the bottom. But you don't have to. A lot of people like to use the like brown glass and stuff. Here is the Peperomia metallica. They're a little bit different. They did not sprout any babies even though they've been in here for months. I'm just going to transplant them anyway. But ideally you want them to look like this. You want them to have these little tiny leaves and basically a miniature plant sprouting from the bottom. and it'll have the roots and whatnot as well going on there. When they start sprouting multiple new little leaves like this is when you want to transplant them. You want to take them out of the water and put them into soil. So I'm going to show you how to do that here. So here we have our Peperomia metallica that I'm going to use as the example today. It's clearly got a bunch of roots. Ideally, I would want it to have pups, but Peperomia metallica grows a little differently normally anyway. But ideally, you want them to have those pups. Here I have a 50% oil mixture and 50% perlite just in a plastic Ziploc bag. It can be in any type of container as long as it's kind of see-through to allow the sun, and then you can open it over time. So like a takeout container, a Ziploc bag, if you have like a little greenhouse or whatever you use for your propagations, as long as some sunlight can get in there, and then it keeps the humidity in. That's the key factor here. And I'm just gonna take, these leaves are so beautiful. I absolutely love them. There's a little bit of damage because these were in the too much sun, but they're just wonderful. And look at all those beautiful roots. These were in soil before they were in water, so that's why there is a little bit of dirt. I am going to put some of this water in here because you do want the soil to be wet. You don't want to take something, it's like a fish out of water. You don't want to take it and put it in completely dry soil in a completely different environment. So you just make sure that you can put it in the damp soil, and that way they can acclimate and adjust, and it's not a completely different environment for them. Don't mess with the roots too much if you don't have to. They have very sensitive roots, but humidity is king for root growth in Peperomia, so it is not that bad. Check out those beautiful roots. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And you just kerplop them in the bag, basically, in the soil. As long as I try to separate them a little bit so they're not all completely tangled in there. It's just easier towards the end process. You just kind of put them in the soil inside the bag, and then we are going to make sure that, here, let me show you. See, I didn't cover all of the roots in there. They're actually going to grow into the soil because they're going to follow that moisture and humidity. They're going to get light. I'm going to add a little bit more water in here, but they're going to get light, which is going to feed them. Humidity plus nutrients basically is what is going to make the all that growth for you. So, and then you just seal it up. I leave mine in these bags for about a month. They can be less though, it just really depends. So, and then you just find a nice sunny place. As long as it's warm, don't stick them in anywhere cold. But yeah. And then you can open it slowly over time and just a little bit more every time. That way you can adjust. Just every few days, open it up, give them a little bit more air. That'll prevent rot. And then if you want them to fully adjust to your environment, you can open them up like this eventually. But for now, I'm just going to seal them up. Okay, and after they have rooted in there for a long time, and you'll see more bigger pups, I'll show you in just a minute. Here I have pots with that same type of soil. These are my Peperomia red ripple caparatas. You can see, here, let me get this leaf out for you. You can see that the older leaf is actually rotted away a little bit. This is what happens when it's pressed up against the plastic there. So you do want to try to keep your leaves away. If they don't rot, you can see that they become more and more discolored because they utilize that energy to push out all of this beautiful new growth. But that's what you want to see. So when you see all of this new growth sprouted in there, it's clearly established. That's when you're ready to actually transplant it and put it into pots. So I like to fold over my bags in case you didn't notice. I have the soil is all wet for you guys already because it's going to come from a very humid environment. So then you just transplant it very gently and carefully from inside this little soil mess that you have going on here and into these pots. Most of the time the pots are going to be too deep, which is why I start out with these bags like this. It is still very wet in here. here, as you can see. And you can see where the leaves were pressed up against the bag and they rotted away a little bit. It's okay, those older leaves we're going to end up chopping off anyway. They are essentially just feeding the new growth. They're not meant to be pretty. And I'm just going to gently remove this excess soil that's clearly not attached to anything. And I did let this dry out slowly over time. And then right before I transplanted them, I made it sopping wet again because it's so much easier to transplant without damaging these if it is wet. I'm just going to scoot these out very gently, just slowly removing excess soil that doesn't have any roots in it. You do want to be as gentle as possible. I actually put 5 in this one bag. Was not optimal. Generally try to stick to 3 if you can. And that one is tangled. See? So, but sometimes if you go around, you can find another one that's not so tangled. See, that one came right out. And they have a decent root system for such a tiny little plant. So we're just once again going to kerplop it in our little hole that we have. And there we go. And sometimes you can gently use your fingers. This is how you just gently use your fingers to kind of work around it a little bit and they'll come apart. You don't have to break anything. Ideally, you don't want to break anything. Don't be ripping all these apart. So, see? This one's got a lot of leaves and a lot of roots. Look at that. Oh my gosh, what a happy little plant. This one was a little funny, so I had to go ahead and move the stem a little bit. And there you have it, beautiful little plant. Baby Peperomia, voila. And then again, you're just kerplopping the little roots in there. All those leaves. This one gets a nice red tinge. Okay, so with this, we're going to take a plastic bag and we put all these pots in the plastic bag. We're going to do this for about a week. It's not a permanent thing. So we go ahead and we put them in because humidity is king for establishing peperomia roots. We've just traumatized them. We want to give them warmth and humidity, make them all comfy and cozy in their new home. And then we can slowly open the bag up and acclimate them to our environment. So just every day, open up the bag a little bit more. Look how happy and cozy they are. So we are going to leave these in here for the next few days and then just kind of open them up. One of these days I will be doing a Peperomia collection video, so make sure you hit the notification bell for that. Alright guys, hopefully that helped you a little bit today. Hopefully you found it interesting. Definitely comment down below with any questions, if you have any extra added tips. If you propagate peperomia differently and you find a different way, definitely let us all know, because we all want to try. It's all about learning and experimenting. So definitely drop those comments down below. I will be updating you guys on everything that we did today, the peperomia cuttings that we took, these guys, how they're doing the next couple of months. I do have highlights on my Instagram for you guys if you want to see kind of how these started and how they've progressed so far. It's under the peperomia highlights if you guys want to check that out, at that awkward plant girl. Also, go ahead and tag me in your peperomia that you have propagated, because I want to see how they're doing. I'm so excited. I love getting messages from you guys and seeing how your guys' plants are doing. And it just makes my day. It really does make my day. I've got 2 more videos right here for you guys to watch, but until then, I will see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you guys for watching.